Welcome to another episode on the Law Report, episode 26. Today we're going to look at the use of taser by police officers in the Turks and Caicos Islands. When should the taser be deployed? But before I do so, my usual disclaimer: this is not legal advice, should not be construed as legal advice. For legal advice, please contact a lawyer of your choice. Welcome back. In my respectful view, the police should not deploy a taser on an individual or a suspect unless there's an imminent threat of danger, harm, or serious injury to a police officer or to members of the team of officers involved. It is beyond dispute that in certain circumstances it is lawful for the police to use force, but the force should be necessary and proportionate in relation to the threat or harm faced. And the indiscriminate and willy-nilly use of taser and persons, in my view, is unlawful. And in a case where a taser is used merely because someone refused to comply with an instruction given by the police, whether or not the instruction is lawful, is unacceptable. And in my view, a person tased in those circumstances could bring a case against the police officer and the police force, a civil suit for assault and battery, or after criminal investigation, that officer could be charged for assault. So, just to be clear, it is my view that if the officer asks someone to stand still and they refuse, that is not a circumstance to use a taser. If the person is running away from the officer, that is no circumstance to use a taser. If the person refuses to put their hands in the air or to lie on the ground and the instructions of the police officer, that is no circumstance to use a taser. In my view, that will amount to an assault on the person by the police officer. If the officer stops a vehicle that the person is driving and he asks the person to get out of the vehicle and the person refuses, that is no reason, no legitimate reason for the police officer to deploy his taser on that person. That, in my view, will be unlawful, and it would constitute an assault on the person, because there is no imminent danger of physical harm to the police officer. Now, I came across a very interesting article on the BBC that was written by Tom Simons, published on the 25th of August 2021, and I will just read some excerpt from that article, and as I read, viewers will see that the excerpts that I am reading actually support my point of view. The Independent Office for Police Conduct has reviewed controversial cases of taser use, and the article is entitled "Police Forces in England and Wales must be given clearer guidance about when they can use tasers to control suspects," according to the police watchdog. And this Independent Office for Police Conduct in England and Wales is an independent body that investigates allegations of police misconduct. Unfortunately, in the Turks and Caicos, there is no such independent investigative body to investigate police misconduct, and we still have this outdated position where police officers are actually investigating themselves. Now back to the article. The article states that the Independent Office for Police Conduct is warning that the use of tasers risks losing its legitimacy in the eyes of the public if their concerns or the concerns raised by the report are not addressed. It said that tasers have been used in unsafe locations or circumstances, and too often to get suspects to do what the police are asking rather than in response to a physical threat. The article continues. The inquest into the death of Mark Cole also found that a taser played a part in his death. Mark Cole was tased 3 times while behaving erratically after taking cocaine. So, just the erratic behavior of this man, it appears that he was tased by the police, and it appears that it was determined that taser, or that he being tased, played a role in his death. The article continues. The report says, "We found in some cases that officers failed to identify and as a result failed to consider how a person's vulnerabilities might affect their ability to understand and comply with instructions." It also concludes, tasers should not be used merely to elicit compliance with instructions or procedures where there is no threat or the threat has been substantially reduced to the point where it is no longer proportionate or necessary. The article continues. 4 inquests in recent years found that tasers contributed to a person's death. The report recommends senior police officers re-examine the types of situation where a taser should not be used, in particular when vulnerable people or children are involved. However, it appears that the police association has criticized the report, stating that it is too vague and that it has not taken into consideration all the facts and circumstances. In fact, the National Police Chief Counsel said that the report only looked at a fraction of taser use. Whether or not the National Police Chief Council is correct, it is beyond dispute, in my view, that the use of taser for compliance with police instructions is unlawful, and police officers should desist from using their taser in such manner. It also appears taser in certain circumstances can contribute, even if it is not the overwhelming cause, that it can play a part in death, and therefore the use of taser should be as a last resort. It appears from reports and from what I have been told by persons being tased by the police in the Turks and Caicos Islands, that the taser is the first resort. This practice should stop, and police officers should be given clear guidelines, and there should be a police force policy on the use of taser. And if it is not already happening, the police officers should be trained to assess the situation which is necessary to use a taser, taking into consideration persons' vulnerabilities, persons' ages, if they are children, persons' disabilities, etc. Here is where I will leave it for today. If you have any comments, please do so. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below, and I will get back to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another episode.